Hey everybody, what's up? Carl Schoof here from Snorkel.tv and CreativeCodingClub.com, and today I just want to welcome you to the live premiere of my bug race lesson, all right? I'm going to show you how to make a fun little game with just one little GreenSock tween, okay? Whether you know nothing about GreenSock or you know quite a bit, I think you're going to find that not only is it easy to follow, but there may be some things as a pro you just don't know. So please sit back, enjoy. I'll get into a technical intro in a little bit, but for now I just want to welcome you, let you know I'll be in the chat over there or over there. I don't know where it is, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Please don't be shy. Give a little shout out. Let me know where you're from, and let's get going. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to program this fun little randomized bug race. At set intervals, each bug moves forward a random amount. What's really cool about this is that it's all driven by a single tween, alright? We never know who's going to win. The anticipation is building. It looks like pink is catching up, but what will happen at the end? I'm going for pink. Oh, blue. Well, before I show you how we code this all in a single GSAP tween, first, a quick little backstory. So it just happens that my young boys love fighting about who has to brush their teeth first each night. So what I've been doing was I would go to Google and I would say, do a random number between 1 and 2, and that gives us a random number generator. So I would say, hey, you know what? Pick a number. I'm going to press this button 5 times, and wherever it lands, that's the person who goes first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, number 2 goes first, all right? So yes, it worked, and yeah, it was fun. I could do it on my phone, but there really wasn't a lot of excitement, okay? And there were some times you'd press the button and the number just wouldn't change because you would get the same number multiple times in a row. So I said, what can I do that's random, but just a little bit more exciting? And that's where Bug Race came from. You would not believe the way they scream and cheer as these bugs go towards the finish line. It's one of the highlights of our day now. So hopefully you'll love seeing how this was built, and maybe you can put your own little twist on it, and it will help you solve some furious debates within your own household. So here's my starter file. You'll notice that I have a bug here and I have a vertical line. This vertical line is called finish line. And then inside my bugs div, I have one pink bug, and I'll eventually have more like this blue bug that is commented out. What I want to point out though is that this line here can move, all right? If I make the window a little bit shorter, it's going to move over, all right? That's because in the CSS, let's take a peek, we have the left edge set to 90%. So this is going to make our finish line sort of responsive and work on various screens. Let's go over to full page view, and I'm going to crack open the JavaScript panel, which has absolutely nothing in it right now. Just so you know, I am of course loading GSAP, so we're all ready to go to create our single tween game. So the first thing I want to do is let's just make the bug move to a random position. So I'm going to do a GSAP.to. My target is going to be the element with a class of bug, and for the X value, what I want to do is create a random value. So I'm going to create a function that is going to return whatever we get from gsap.utils.random. And I'm just going to pass in a number between 0 and 100. I'm also going to add a repeat of 20. And now let's run. And what we're going to see is that he just sort of wiggles around back and forth here, all right? This tween is repeating, and it's always animating to the same values. Now, if I want to get a new random number on each repeat, something we've been doing recently is we're going to use repeat refresh, and I'm going to set that to true. So now the next time I run, you'll see that each time the tween repeats, we get a new random value. Now this is all well and good, but he's never going to make it over to the finish line if he's just going to different random values between 0 and 100. What I want to do is add a value between 0 and 100 to the current position. So that's going to be a relative value. As a string, I'm just going to append that plus equals to make it a relative value. It's always going to add on whatever this function returns. So now when I run, you're going to see that he moves forward a bit, then again and again. All right, so he's always jumping these random values. And I pretty much have half the game worked out already, okay? What's going to happen is after 20 repeats, he's going to stop, all right? Now with just this code in place, watch what happens when I add another bug to the mix. I don't have to create another tween because we know our tweens can have multiple targets. Let's open up the JavaScript again, do a run, and we're already going to have a fun little race. All right, each time the tween repeats, they each move a random amount forward at different speeds. So it may look like blue's gonna win now, but we know that pink could, oh, you know what? I ran out of repeats, okay? 20 wasn't enough, all right? I'm not setting this to -1 yet because I don't need these things moving forever as I'm speaking, okay? So now the challenge is going to be, how do we detect when they are going to cross this line? So what I basically need to do is on each update of the tween, I need to loop through both or all of the targets and see if their X value is greater than where the line is, okay? So I'm going to add an on update here, and I'm going to create a function that is going to basically loop through all those targets. So to do that, it's going to look something like this. I'm going to get the array of targets using this dot targets, and then I'm going to run a for each on them. And inside that for each, there's going to be a function. I'll pass in the element in that array. And for each of those elements in the array, I need to ask a question. And I'm basically going to say, hey, if this element's X value is greater than, let's just say 500, then we want to stop the race. It's going to look something like this. If GSAP.get property, and we're going to pass in the current element and get its X position. And if that X position is greater than, let's just hard code 500 here, then we're going to do something. We want to stop the tween. Let's just do an alert. I'll say race over, okay? I've typed a lot of code. There could be something wrong here. Let's give it a run. All right, we're off to the race. I'm gonna guess 500 pixels is somewhere around here. Oh, there we go. Race is over. All right. Pretty cool. Now you'll see the tween stopped, but that's just because the alert came up. As soon as I get rid of that, we're going to be an interesting loop here, okay? Because it's always going to be greater than 500. Might have made a little bit of a boo-boo here. Let's get out of that. Okay, I managed to comment out that alert, and let's never do that again. All right, so at least we know that when one of them reaches an X greater than 500, we can run some code in here. So what I want to do is stop the tween from running. And how am I going to do that? Well, the thing is, I would normally inside of a tween callback say something like this dot pause, but the problem is inside of this function scope here, inside this for each, this refers to the window and not the tween. So one way around that is that inside of the on updates function scope, I'm going to say let tween equal this. And then inside of here, down here, I can reference tween. So let's just see if this works. So as you can see, we're moving forward. When one of them gets to around here, I'm guessing, hopefully, everything stopped, all right? So we've detected that one of the elements has passed our fake finish line. If you want to see which element it is, here's a cool little trick. I'm going to say GSAP.to, and I'm going to target the element whose X is greater than 500. And I'm going to do a little filter tween here, okay? I'm just going to say that your brightness is going to go to 2. And for something like this, we can say repeat 6 times. We'll do a yo-yo of true, and we'll have a really short duration of like 0.1. So now the next time I run, it should be very clear to see who the winner is. So let's go, let's get past 500, and what's gonna happen? Aha, Pinky here blinked at us. How awesome is that? So here we have pretty much all the logic in place. Now what we wanna do though is no longer use this arbitrary 500 number. I wanna use this finish line's current X value or left position, okay? Now the tricky thing about getting the position of this line here is, remember, we had it set in the CSS, where are you, finish line, your left edge is 90%. What we need is a pixel value for that, okay? So check this out. Just down here, I'm going to paste in this console.log, and I'm going to use document.querySelector finish line class, and I'm going to get the bounding client rect, all right? So you may not know what that is, or you might, I don't know. Either way, I'm going to run, and you'll see what happens here. We get this object. So what does that object have in it? It has all of these coordinates, all right? And what I want is the actual left edge of it, okay? So I'm just going to append on here .left for left, and now the next time I run, we should see just one value here. We get that 1152, all right? So that's the number I'm going to check against. So I'm going to take all of this here, we're going to cut it out, and right in our tween on update, I'm going to say let finish position equal all of that. And then inside of my little conditional statement here, I'm going to type in finish pos, okay? So what we're going to have here is a semi-dynamic finish line position. So we're off to the races here. We have blue going ahead. Pink, is there any hope? I don't know. Right now my kids would be screaming their heads off. Looks like blue's gonna win. And there we go. The second blue fully crosses the finish line, he blinks, all right? How cool is that? And technically right now we have all of this game logic inside of a single tween. Let me go ahead and shrink this window down a little bit. We'll get out of full screen mode. And what's neat about having the finish position inside this on update is that when I run the next time, we can have our race going. And you know, if I wanted to do something like, I don't know, take this window, make it a little bit smaller, it's going to always check to see the current position of where that line is, even if the race is running. Now, most of the time, you would probably put this finish position outside of this on update function because it's really not going to change under normal circumstances. But I did want to show you that all the code could go inside the tween. And we have a fun little race now. Oh, silly me. This is still set to 20. Let's go fix that up. We never want to run out of repeats. So I'm going to make that -1. And let's go into our HTML and let's make this race a little bit more interesting. I'm going to copy those divs. We'll paste them a few times. That's going to give us plenty more bugs. And from now on out, what we can do is sort of mess around. My kids love changing the speed. I think 100 is pretty good for this size screen. Let's run. And now we're going to have lots of races. Pick a color. Who's going to win? I'm going for blue. Let's see what happens. Oh no, I don't know. Blue. All right. It's kind of nice when you call it halfway through the race. It gives you a little bit of an advantage. So anyway, hopefully you can see how much fun this could be, how much variance you could add. And again, we're just tapping into tons of GSAP functionality that we've already learned about. Good job, Pink. There you go. One little pro tip before we go. Although it was perfectly fine to create a reference to this inside of the on update so that we know what the tween actually is, we can use a GSAP built-in method for that, okay? So what I'm going to do is instead of referencing tween, I'm going to use gsap.getTweensOf, and that returns an array of any tween working on the element or target that I pass in, okay? So in some cases, there may be 20 different tweens that are animating my target here. For right now, I know there's one tween that's animating it, so I'm just going to pull out the first element in that array, which of course has an index of 0, and I'm going to pause it, all right? So I'm getting rid of one line of code, and I'm using getTweensOf to find out which tween is animating our friend the element, and we're going to pause it. So let's just bring our window up. Let's just do a final test to make sure this works, and when I run, here we go. We are off to the races. It looks like blue is in the lead. He's got a big advantage, and we're getting closer. And what are we going to get? Blue takes it by a hair. All right. So it totally works. And again, we have this awesome, fun little game, if you will, that all the code is inside of a single tween, all right? I'm not saying that you need to code a full game this way. I just think it's an awesome creative example to show you how we can tap into so many hooks in the GSAP API and have one single tween animate 10 or 1,000 different things and detect when they cross a finish line and have it blink. It's really quite cool. All right, so there we go. We created a fun little game with one GreenSock tween. And what did it take us, like 10 minutes maybe? Not too shabby, right? So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. And it means so much that you watched this far into the video. It's been a lot of fun. And again, I just hope I inspired you to take one more step closer to checking out the GreenSock animation platform and just maybe feeling a little bit of that joy of building things with code, all right? These little games, when I share them with my kids, just makes their heads explode. In the next video, I'm gonna show you how you can make the bugs not only move forwards, but randomly move backwards, all right? They go nuts. It's a ton of fun. So I'm a big fan of GreenSock. I love creating this fun little stuff. And if you want to learn more about what I do in my training, please check out creativecodingclub.com. I've got some info in the description below, perhaps a coupon code. So check it out. Again, thanks for watching. It means a lot to me. Have a great day.